friends, welcome back to my channel. This morning we are starting barefaced and we are going to be answering your questions today. As many of you may have seen on my Instagram, I asked you guys if you wanted a Q&A get ready with me, and almost 100% of you said yes, and then a lot of you started submitting your questions in. So if you want to see something like this in the future and you want to be part of it, feel free to follow me right here on Instagram and I can answer some of your questions for you. But today I just kind of need to put on some makeup and start my day, and I thought, what's a better way to do it than with my friends this morning? So let's do some makeup together while I answer your questions. And this is a whole face of nothing new. This is another Shop My Stash, BoxyCharm drugstore, some Ipsy, all kinds of good stuff in here that I haven't talked about in a while. I specifically am picking out pieces that I feel like I haven't talked about on my channel in either a long time or a while. So a couple of these things though you are familiar with. So let's jump in. Also, I have my coffee this morning, but feel free to have whatever beverage, snack, puppy, or blankie you need next to you. You know how we do it here. It's all relaxed and chill. The only thing you've missed so far in my morning routine is jumping into these facial wipes from my BoxyCharm. These are from First Aid Beauty. Just been kind of cleaning off my face this morning because last night I had some Mario Badescu drying lotion on some of these grown-up imperfections. Like, when does that stop being a thing? Probably never. I'll be like 92 and I'll have like a big zit right here and I'll be like, it's fine girls, it's hormones. Now let's pull up the questions that you guys had for me. I've only kind of looked at these. I haven't really thoroughly read them, so I haven't really thought about much of them. So a lot of this is going to be off the cuff, off the tip of the tongue. Let's just see where the day takes us. All right, also to start my face, I haven't used this in a while, but this week I've started to pull it back out. This is my Peach and Lily Glass Refining Serum. I love this stuff. But I've been using so many other skincare items from BoxyCharm because, you know, my quarterly review, is coming up. I'm actually filming that this week. So I've already got my thoughts on certain things, but some stuff I'm like, I need to see my skin looking this good again. You know that? You know that feeling when you're like, okay, I gotta go back and see, this was better, I think. I don't know. And you know how I feel about taking some skincare down your neck into your décolletage, especially for my bustier ladies. Save yourself the trust wrinkles in the future by doing skincare here too. Just pull it down a little bit. Megan asks, I don't know how to put these things on the screen, so I don't know how to save these. What's your least favorite thing about living in this super cute tiny house? Ooh, Megan, that's a hard one. Okay, what's your least favorite thing about living in my super cute tiny house? I love that she added in the super cute part. Gonna be going in with my No Pore Blem primer from Touch in Soul. The bottle is nearing the end of its life, so I just tend to do this sometimes. Scoop it out with the pump and put it on my face. That's kind of hard for me to tell you what's my least favorite part because I'm a glass half full kind of girl. Let's see. I feel like I would have said something different when I first moved in versus now that I've lived in it for 2.5 years now? 2 years? 2 years now? I would have said something different in the beginning than maybe I feel now because I was still adjusting to tiny house living. If anything, in the beginning, it was just a little bit of like trying to figure out everything had to have its perfect place. And that's the part about kind of like living tiny, is you have to know where everything's going to go. And when you first move in, it's like you're still like putting the pieces of the puzzle together. But now that we've been doing this for 2 years, what do I like least about it? I am literally sitting here having to think about it because I don't. Well, during quarantine, I feel like it's not fair, but I feel like during a quarantine, it's probably more challenging than one of our bigger houses would have been where we previously lived, because we would have been able to space out a little bit more, but no one knew this was coming. But even now, we've been finding ways to cohabitate totally fine. Like right now, he's walking the dogs while I'm filming. This is my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. You know what? I think I can tell you what is the least, likable part of it. It is when, how some of the outside community perceives it. Some people think it's cool. Some people think it's, really cool because they see it on TV. And then people get very pushy and very forward, about you know, it's kind of like the way I've equated it in the past when I'm talking to people. It's kind of like when you see those map star homes like in Hollywood and stuff, people like do the tours. So you could go see where Courtney Cox lives, where, you know, Brad Pitt lives, all of that stuff. We have kind of like an ongoing cycle of people that are really, really curious about tiny house living, and that's cool. But when they figure out where a tiny house is, and I've kind of mentioned this about a year ago, people will show up, people think they can come to your door, and that is really, really invasive and really, really rude. So that's why I'm very protective about kind of talking about too much about where we live, because the last thing I need is more people showing up at our door or coming by, taking pictures like it's a paparazzi moment. It's very awkward considering we're just normal people living in a smaller space. That for us has been the hardest part, is feeling like people think that we owe them to come into our house and to view it, even if they're total strangers. We've actually had people try to do that. If you're unfamiliar with what I talked about a year ago, that people, when we first moved here to Florida, like would see a tiny house and literally come up to our door and say, I love tiny houses. I watch the shows all the time. Can I just come in and see your house? Like total strangers, out of nowhere, middle of the day. Sometimes I'd be home alone when I was working because I work from home. That's my hardest part about all of this. It's definitely lessened. We have a little bit more security around us now, but that is the hardest part, is that people's perception is, I guess, that everyone that does it is an ambassador for the movement, and in some ways we kind of are, but we didn't move there just so anyone that saw us living in a tiny house would be like, oh, I'm coming into your house. Like, no, it's rude. I don't know you. I don't know you. Stranger danger. That's the hardest part, I guess, is people either one, judging you because you live tiny, so they think that that's a negative in some way, when for us, we chose to do this lifestyle. And then people feeling like they can just knock on our door and say, I want to come in your home. Like, who does that? Crazy people. Crazy. All right. I feel like that was a long way to get to that finally, but that was a hard question for me, and it's early for me. I'm still drinking my coffee. I have not used this foundation in a while. This is the CoverGirl Outlast 3-in-1 foundation. Mine is in the shade Buff Beige 825. This is the one I could not wait to go back to when CoverGirl went cruelty free. Favorite meal to cook, and what do you miss most about St. Louis? Asks Wavy Maria. Hey girl, I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Ooh. So favorite meal to cook. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Adam is the cook in our house. I am very lucky that my husband is a good cook and he likes to cook. Oh, this may not be my color right now. How you doing, quarantine? How you doing? Yeah. My favorite meal for him to cook, oh my gosh. I love how he makes, this is gonna sound weird right now because it's like so early in the morning, I'm drinking coffee and I'm gonna talk about vegetables here, but he's so good at making, any kind of vegetable that you hated as a kid tastes delicious. So I thoroughly enjoy that. I love how he makes Brussels sprouts. I love how he cooks steaks. I love how he's not afraid to try new recipes. I feel like I'm just now gloating about my husband that cooks instead of what I like to cook. I'm sorry, because I don't cook that much. I'm such a basic cooker that I don't even feel like it's called cooking. It's more like chopping, putting shit together and putting it in the oven. Like I like to make potato wedges, like if I'm having a potato craving, like chop them up into those kind that you can get at like restaurants or whatever, and like baking and broiling them. I feel like that's something I've liked that Adam's liked. I'm such a basic cooker though. Like I'm not that great. And what do I miss most about St. Louis? Oh gosh, like, well, I mean, there's the obvious things you're gonna say, like that's where everyone we know lives. Like, you know, family obviously, but like our friends, like so many of our friends over this past 2 years that we've been living here have started growing their families. So we keep together with social media. Thank goodness, you know, in this day and age we have stuff like that, and texting. A girlfriend of mine was kind of going through some similar stuff after having her baby when I was going through my hysterectomy, so I felt like I could reach out to her and talk to her about some stuff, so that was nice. But it is hard when you're like I knew I was gonna have my hysterectomy last year, and it's like, you know, everybody you know, your support system, you know, is kind of back home. So that, St. Louis is known for really good food too, so food is, you know, a big thing there. There are definitely some days that we miss specific restaurants, like first date spots, because Adam and I are very nostalgic. So like every year on our anniversary, we went back to all of our first date spots, and there were quite a few. Well, most of our first date spots, because we went to like 5 different places on our first date. So we go back to like the restaurant-y ones, some more revisitable ones. So stuff like that, stuff that's more nostalgic and like memorable for us. Okay, I hope I say all of your handles right. I may say them wrong. How am I feeling after my surgery? I'm looking great. Oh, thank you. This is from Prissy 1105. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm actually starting to feel pretty great now. I just don't know how I feel about this foundation anymore. I feel like the formula has changed. I thank you so much. I am, I'm gonna jump over here into an e.l.f. concealer. I've got medium sand and medium beige. These are the e.l.f. camo concealers. I think I'm clearly the lighter one, which is medium sand. I'm just now starting to feel more like myself again. And I plan to do an update. I was gonna do it closer to my 1 year mark, and that will be in June. So we're getting really close to that actually, which is kind of crazy considering what I feel like the past year had been. And if you're new here, what she's referring to is at 35, I had to have a total hysterectomy. So my life changed very drastically last year. I was not expecting it. But I'm really starting to feel better now because in this year, I not only got off of the Orlissa, that is the medication you take after a endometriosis surgery, to kind of like remove everything, get it all out. I took that for 6 months, which is a very long time to be on that kind of medication. And then on to estrogen. We just upped my dose in March, like right before all this pandemic happened. I'm so grateful I got into my doctor because she did up my estrogen to 2 milligrams because I am very young, and she was like, we will probably have to increase the amount of estrogen your body needs. Because when I tried the 1 milligram, it was okay, and I was feeling a difference, but I had serious mood swings. I had, I would cry. It was rough. I mean, hysterectomies and, you know, going through early menopause are not the easiest thing, but I definitely am feeling better now that we've got my dosage, I think, more accurate. I'm still kind of like in the process of all this, so while this pandemic's going on, I am going through hormone replacement therapy, and that's something I'm trying to keep in mind if I am having a stressful day, because I'll be like, whoa, 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 is this you freaking out? Is this the hormones? Is this the pandemic? Is this all of the above? So I really try to keep myself in check right now. I am feeling much better actually, because during this whole thing and finally getting on the estrogen, that's what I think is making the biggest difference. And some of you have asked me privately in another conversation, like, hey, you're starting to look a little different. Are you losing weight? Yes, I have been losing weight. Really quickly here, I might try to jump back into this Becca powder. You all know we loved this last year. It's a Hydra Mist, but I feel like this has kind of like lost the coolness of it. I have some backups down there that I love and I'm excited for this summer, but I may try this a little bit, but I'm also going to jump into the Wet n Wild because I'm trying to finish it up. I've lost, well, at this point I don't know, because when I went to the doctor to get my hormones increased so we could get more estrogen, at that point I think I had lost about 17 pounds since December, January, which is pretty fast and a lot for my body type. But my doctor and I had talked about it, and she was pretty much saying that, one, the Orlissa really makes you hold on to a lot of swelling, and a lot of you knew from my Instagram, and if you don't know this, I have a whole highlight reel on my Instagram to help any other woman going through this, of the day in the life while I was going through it all. So I highly recommend, if anyone that's going through that has watched my videos about my hysterectomy, that whole highlight lets you know a play-by-play, day-by-day of kind of like how my recovery was going, and it's, you know, a little brutal at times. It's not the prettiest, you know, journey. So I'm very honest about it so you know what I went through. Doesn't mean it's going to happen to you, but, you know. But we also really think that the extremeness of how bad my endometriosis was a big cause for a lot more weight gain than we even knew at the time, because we had no idea for the past few years that I had it. So it's an interesting time in my life right now. I feel like I'm going through almost like a second puberty in some ways, but I'm feeling like I'm finally coming out on the other side of it, because I am continuing to lose weight. I don't really know how much more weight I've lost since the last time I saw my doctor, because I don't own a scale, because who invites the devil into their house? Not it. So I figure at one point I'll kind of figure it out. I'm more going off of clothing at this point. I've had to kind of buy new shorts, some new tops. I'm actually pretty pleasantly surprised with how good I'm feeling now. And I'm not gonna lie though, there are days, like even last week, and it could be a combination of the pandemic and everything that's going on, but I had a couple of freakouts last week too. I'm not totally out of the woods yet with a balanced everything yet. So I'm just kind of going with it day by day and trying to keep a positive mind about the whole thing. And keep perspective, because perspective will keep you in check when you start to get a little like down the rabbit hole with your feelings. But thank you, I am feeling better, and I'm really glad you guys think I'm looking good. I appreciate that. This is the part when I start to feel a little powdery when I haven't touched some products in a while. I like to spray it down a bit, and I'm gonna spray it down with the Skin & Co. Truffle Therapy. This one is more brightening, illuminating. I don't always like this, but right now, I'm gonna add it on. The thing about this is sometimes this thing will mist beautifully, and then sometimes there's huge drops that you're like, that's gonna leave a mark somewhere on this face. I can't think of any questions, but I look forward to watching this video. Love you, says Shallow Wolf. Thank you so much. I love you too. Would you ever move back to the Midwest? I live in Australia, but I miss Michigan, asks Jasmine. Ooh. Good question. I'm gonna be jumping and doing some brows, but instead of using my Winky Lux, I'm gonna jump into a Mellow pencil here. We got from BoxyCharm a while ago. I've got two here. I believe one's chocolate, one is like more of a toffee caramelly color. Would I move back to the Midwest? You know, I've always been more of a summer girl. I really get seasonal depression in the winter months, and the winter months aren't just when it snows, it's when there's no sun. And that is where it has become really hard for me, and I didn't even realize how hard it was for me until I didn't live there anymore. I mean, I knew how hard it was in the moment, but when you reflect back and you're like, last year was the first year I didn't get a serious like seasonal depression, gray days, gloominess, crankiness. Like I was elated all last winter because I couldn't believe how much better I felt not dealing with the doom and gloom. So honestly, it would be hard for me, but back when I was a kid, I used to think I would go to a coast, but I never thought it would be Florida. I thought I would be going to like California or something. Because for my OG subscribers, you guys know I was with a talent agency for years, and I was doing films with pretty much any big movie set that would come out to the Midwest, my agency would always be part of, and I would always get some kind of booking with it. So if anything, I thought I was going to be going to the West Coast in California or something. I did not think that I would be in Florida one day, but you know, life changes, you pivot, and so far we're really loving Florida, but we wouldn't maybe rule out another coast one day. But as far as going back to the Midwest, I could say at this point, 2 years out, I don't think we have plans for that, but you never know where life's gonna take you. But how is Australia? That is on my bucket list. Oh my God, it's Selena asks, how do you rotate your makeup to make sure you use it all? That's a great question. And I mean, I'm not perfect at it because sometimes I feel like there's something hidden in the bottom that I was like, I forgot about you. Where'd you come from? Who are you? Do I even know your name? Sometimes I get that happen to me too. So that's just par for the course. But I think it really benefits me personally because I have a tiny beauty space. It's much easier when you have a tinier space and you are selective of what you're keeping and what you're using. It does help. I'm not gonna lie, there's some stuff in here today that, like I said, I'm pulling out stuff for this video that I knew I hadn't used in a while, and I've either missed it or I'm like, okay, why haven't I reached for this? Because like I've said in some past videos, I have this thing where it's like, if I'm not reaching for something, I have to remind myself to discover why. Like, why don't I like this? Is it time to declutter it? Or is it something that's good, but it's only good for this type of makeup or this type of event? And then I have to decide from there, do I keep it? Do I get rid of it? I think it helps having a YouTube channel because I am always looking for fresh content to provide for you guys. And I don't want to spend an arm and a leg on makeup. I don't. Do I like nice makeup? Yes. Do I want makeup just to come to me freely like I manifested it? 110%. But I'm also one of those people that really wants to make sure I'm using everything I have, because I've had houses and, you know, beauty spaces before where I just had so much stuff that all of it just went bad and I wasted my money. And I want to make sure I'm using up my money, using up the products that I like. If I'm keeping them and buying them, there's got to be a reason for it. So I do do videos where I like dig through and stuff like this, that does help me. I'm trying to figure out how to say this, because it's kind of like the fact that I have a YouTube channel helps because I can pull out stuff, because if I know I've talked about the same bronzers, blushes, whatever, if I talk about them over and over again, believe me, people comment. They let me know, like, hey, you're talking about the same stuff over and over again. We know how you feel about that. So for me, that part's not hard because I know I'm going to get people reacting, so I have to dig through my stuff usually. But also, I want to keep this curated. So if I'm not reaching for something, I do pull it out on camera, and I do pull it off camera to be like, why am I not using you? Because if I don't like you, why am I keeping you? Why am I storing and hoarding you? Because honestly, even as I'm sitting here now on camera talking to you, and I'm trying to be more focused on answering your questions than my makeup, looking down right now, I'm like, I am not loving this foundation, and I have not been reaching for this foundation compared to some of the other stuff you guys know I talk about and love. So in my head right now, I'm already going, ooh, I may just be getting rid of this after this video or within the next week or two. And that way, when you get rid of something that you know you're not using, you can see more of what you love. So that's kind of where my mind always tries to go with it, and I keep it concise. I'm not really loving this right now. In person, this is not looking as pretty as the other sister product. I think they changed this formula. I think they did. I hope I answered your question well enough. I'm really not sure if I did. I also do take time in the mornings to literally look through each caddy. Like, this is a caddy that has a lot of my primers in it. I dug through, and yesterday I was like, holy crap, I still have a Wet n Wild one. I should try to use this up. So I used this yesterday, because I'm not always perfect at it either, but I do try to at least every so often literally go through each tub of stuff and go, what have I not used and why? And then I make a video on it and talk to my friends about it here. Next, I'm going to be jumping into a Contour de France. I got this little sugar bronzer contour guy from like an Ipsy a while back, and I really liked this. I actually even kept this in a like on-the-go travel bag in my car for a while. So I'm going to pop this back out, and yeah, I'm going to tell you now, as we get to the brush portion of this, yeah, I've not had time to clean my brushes. So nobody comment down below, girl, why are your brushes not clean? Because I'm busy. I just haven't. I'm sorry. Pandemic affects us all. All right, lip gloss is my vice asked me, what is your favorite thing about doing YouTube? That is a really good question, because I feel like some people do it for different reasons. I mean, everybody's got a reason they do something like this, like you put yourself on camera to go onto the internets, which is not always the safest place. My favorite thing about it is you guys. Like, I put a post up, I think this past week, about I had a time hop picture show up that showed I got 1,000 subscribers 3 years ago this week. It was a couple of days ago, I think. And honestly, I even said it all there. I was like, at the time when I hit 1,000 subscribers 3 years ago, my only goal for this channel was to get 100 subscribers to have makeup friends to talk to that were fun, and just like me, they were just looking to communicate, talk about some of their passions, their favorite things, and just make friends. You know, that was really the only reason I did it. I mean, yes, like I had just said, I was with a talent agency for a while, so that was like also a fun creative outlet for me, because, you know, when you live in the Midwest, it's not like movies are coming down the pike every month or anything. So when I was looking for a creative outlet. I loved makeup. I had been doing it for years in theater and films and stuff like that, and I wanted to get better at it. And then I slowly started like realizing how much, when I was doing the videos, you can connect with your viewers and you can know them by name. I mean, there are so many of you that I know from the beginning days. I've got Belinda, Lisa. There are so many of you that have been here from the start of my channel, and you're still here like talking with me about BoxyCharm makeup and drugstore makeup. It is like you're talking to friends, even though you're not here with me, and I feel like I'm just talking at you a lot. I hear you guys in the comments though, and I feel like I know you because of that. And some of you have shared really hard moments with me, and some of you have shared really beautiful moments with me. And it's such an amazing thing, and every YouTuber should feel like they have the best community because that is specific to them. I feel like you guys are the best. And I'm so grateful for you, because I don't think I would have gotten through a lot of last year without the support of you guys. And you may be thinking, you don't even see us. That's true. Well, not true, because I see you in my comments. I see you in my emails. You guys are the sweetest support system of people that, even if you've never fully met me in person, you feel like you know me and I feel like I know you. So really, it's just a beautiful community. All right, this may not work. I got this at like a Marshall's last year. This is a Kevin Aquan bronzer in Desert Days. I'm gonna try to add this because I'm not liking the tone of, I mean, I'm liking the tone, but I feel like I need something a little bit more. Really, you guys are my favorite thing. You guys are the reason even during this pandemic, at one point I even said to Adam, I don't know if I can do 2 videos a week, because years ago, 3 years ago when I started this channel, I was like, I need to do 2 videos a week. One, to grow my channel, because I do have goals with my channel. I do want to grow it to reach more people, to help more people, to talk about more things, make more friends. But at the same time, like, I knew you guys needed this, and I was like, Adam, I don't know if I can do 2 videos during this whole pandemic because my work is crazy. He was going to be off. You know, there's a lot of, you know, I could have just thrown in the towel on a lot of it during this whole thing, but it was like, my friends need me. You don't bail out on your friends. Thank you so much for asking that question. I appreciate it. I'm also trying a different makeup technique. I've been seeing people do what they're calling the W right now with their bronzers and sometimes their blushes, where it's a little bit more of a W, because this gives you like that sun-kissed look. And right now, I just want to try new stuff. Okay, so the next question comes from, oh, it's my girl makeup party. Okay, so let's see here. What is she asking me? How do you stay so bright and spirited and positive? I know how to fake it, but you look sincerely happy. And this is Makeup Party with Ashley. Girl, I see you all the time. You are so sweet. Thank you for submitting your question. Like I said, I try to be a glass half full kind of person. I was not always. Like, there were times in my younger days where I was just not a bright, happy soul. And I don't know, a couple of years ago, I just made the conscious effort to be like, okay, what can I do? Let's not look at what I can't do. Let's focus what I can do. I did a lot of soul searching during like a lot of difficult times in my life, where I think we all kind of go through. Really quickly, I'm going to be jumping into my Park Avenue Princess for these 2 powders up here. I need it. I need it right now. Honestly, we all just do the best we can, especially during these very crazy times at the moment. But I did a lot of reading because I wasn't always such a positive and happy person. I mean, I think a lot of us go through stuff in life where you know, you see shit, life gets hard. And then you just kind of have to make a decision. You can live in the bad stuff, or you can try to get above it. So I did a lot of reading. I love the books and I always talk about them. I'm going to talk about it again. It's in my Amazon links. You Are a Badass is something that really helped me in a very pivotal time. That is by Jen Sincero. I actually do pictures every morning on my phone of her You Are a Badass daily calendar. So every day there's a piece of the book in here that just kind of like makes you kick your ass into gear and get up and do something, or at least think differently about something. I do that every day as I'm kind of like going through this. And in the previous year, I had a different one that was motivational, but yet positive. I really just try to surround myself with positivity. I'm not perfect though. During this whole hormone stuff and the pandemic and life, there have definitely been days, even as of last week, that between hormones and life, I was like a crying mess, and my husband had to look at me and be like, it's all gonna be okay. So it's one of those things where you are that support for a lot of people, but other people in your world are that support for you, because we're all human. I genuinely am happy when I'm here on camera talking to you, and I'm genuinely happy in my day-to-day life. And when I talk to people that I work with and I'm trying to build up their day, because you can hear on the phone, like that's one of my secret favorite things to do, is if I'm on the phone with somebody, either it's work or family or friends, and you can tell in their voice they're not there, like they're just not happy. Something's up, even if they're stressed, or they're calling you about a problem if it's a work thing or whatever. My favorite thing to do is to think, what does this person love? What does this person appreciate? And if I can think of like food, their new boyfriend, their motorcycle, whatever it is, I then bring that up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I meant to ask you, how's that new boyfriend? Or how's that latest recipe you were working on? Or whatever it is, and then that brightens their day, and that brightens my day. Like, I like to, that energy bounces right back, you know what I mean? So when you share happiness with somebody, it bounces back on you. So I like to take tough times, spin it, and be like, oh my gosh, I just wanted you to know this really helped me today. I really value what you did for me today. Like, that makes them feel good, and then that makes me feel good. That's something I really try to do every day if I can. I'm going to jump here into my Ciate Marbled Light Dusk blush. So, I mean, it's all a choice every day for me to, you know, I could be cranky, and there are days that I'm not the happiest because hormones. the purge is going on, all this crazy world stuff. But then at the same time, I try hard to keep perspective, and I try to think, what am I grateful for today? And you guys have heard me talk about that too. I every day ask myself, what am I grateful for? And every night before bed, the question I ask Adam every single night, and you can ask him, I say this to him every night, I'm like, what was the best part of your day? Because if you can end the day thinking about what is the best part of your day, anything else that was crap that day doesn't matter. It's gone. It's not important. So it's just like, what is the best part of your day every day? And I try to think of those things because we only get to do this life once. We may as well enjoy the ride. The question to end all questions, but we're not done, so don't worry. Cassandra Lee wants to know my top 3 BoxyCharm items. Oh, girl, talk dirty to me. Oh my God, what? Hi friends, this video got really long. You guys all had some amazing questions that I wanted to give the proper amount of time and attention to, so this video ended up being like over an hour long altogether, so I'm going to be piecing this up into 2 parts. The next part of this video is going to be next week sometime. First, I'm going to be uploading my BoxyCharm video because I know a lot of you are excited for that. So stay tuned, be subscribed so you don't miss out on the other half of all of the amazing and some personal, some about makeup questions you guys asked me through this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to be subscribed to see part 2 and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on all of the fun, loud, weird, unique videos I do every single week. See you in part 2, guys. Bye, friends.